After 10 months of paying $11,400 in bills while my family lived rent-free, my mom told me to leave. The next day, I did, and took the house with me. So, my mom drops this bomb on me one day, saying, "You know, if you don't like living with family, you can leave," as if she was sharing some ultimate life advice instead of just brushing me off. I'm standing there, still clutching a soggy bag of groceries after hauling them up 3 flights of stairs in the middle of a rainstorm. I'm drenched, my knees are throbbing, and my phone's blowing up with work messages I haven't touched all day because I've been stuck cleaning up the kitchen after my brother left it looking like something out of a frat party. And that's her solution. "No thanks for the groceries, no sorry for yelling last night when you asked for some privacy. Just this reminder that I'm lucky to have a roof over my head," and she walks away like she dropped the mic. But let's get real, I'm the one who's been paying for that roof. I've shelled out around $11,400 over 10 months. I covered rent, Wi-Fi, utilities, groceries, streaming services, even picked up the tab for the electric bill when they forgot about it last winter. They moved into my apartment, which was technically mine since my name was on the lease and my credit on the line, yet somehow it morphed into our place, and I ended up owing them more somehow. And, oh boy, did I let it happen. I surrendered my home office so my brother could have a peaceful gaming haven, cooked most dinners, vacuumed, and even paid for mom's allergy meds when she decided insurance was too much hassle. I did it all quietly because, well, that's just what family does, right? But the second I asked for a bit of room, just 1 hour a night for some piece from TikTok videos blaring through the wall, she hit me back with, "We're your family. Act like it." That night, I didn't even bother going to bed. Didn't bother heading back inside. I crashed in my car instead. My feet turned to ice against the floor mat, and the back seat was digging into my spine like some kind of metal rib cage. Lying there under an old moving blanket, staring at the ceiling, I couldn't help but wonder how I managed to become the bad guy in my own place. At dawn, I got up, walked over to the 24-hour gas station, and grabbed a coffee with the last $5 in my Venmo. Then, I made one quiet bank transfer. Just a few taps and a confirmation code. She didn't know it yet, but she had just signed her way out. They'd moved in about 10 months ago, just for a bit, as my mom sweetly put it when she needed a favor. Just until my dad's surgery was done, just until my brother finished the semester. And, like a fool, I agreed. The lease was mine, and I finally had the master bedroom I had worked 5 years in finance to afford, an office with a window, a good mattress, a kitchen with sharp knives. But 2 weeks in, my place stopped being mine. Dad took the recliner, leaving an imprint of disappointment, the TV was always blaring, and Mom took over the pantry, plastering my fridge with religious magnets and sticky notes like "Don't touch Mom's yogurt," as if I was some guest in my own home. My brother Jason snagged my office. Literally. "Bro, I need a place to study. Finals are killing me," he said, already setting up his monitor before I could even reply. He was 23, doing online classes, and flunking 2 of them. I asked him to keep it down after 10 p.m. since I had early meetings, and he hit me with, "It's not just your place, man. Chill." By the 3rd month, I was cooking every meal because frozen wasn't good enough for anyone else. I was covering all the bills because we were still waiting on Dad's disability check. I was scrubbing the bathroom I shared with a guy who seemed to think soap magically vanished. And yet they acted like they were doing me a favor, like I should be grateful for their presence. Then came the ultimate embarrassment. It was a Tuesday, and I was running late for a Zoom call, couldn't find my charger, Jason had taken it again. I knocked on my old office door to ask for it back, and he didn't even pause his game. "Bro, I told you don't knock like that. You're freaking out my squad." I stood there, stunned, in my own apartment, asking for my own charger. Mom poked her head from the kitchen, saying, "Sweetheart, just let him focus. He's under a lot of pressure." I was the one under pressure, working 12-hour shifts to support 4 people, but nobody saw that. And then, Facebook hit me with the icing on the cake. My aunt tagged me in a picture, a family barbecue, right in my living room, with my grill. Dad was smiling with a beer, Jason had his arm. So, there's this picture Mom posted with a girl I didn't know. The caption was all about how family is everything and how special it is to be together. Funny thing, I wasn't in that pic. I was stuck in my room, for the 3rd time, working late to tweak someone's budget report. No one told me, didn't invite me, and definitely didn't save me any food. People kept commenting like, "So happy you're together. And your boys look so grown up." Mom even wrote back to one, saying how blessed she feels. "Ours," she said. That was kind of my breaking point, but things got worse from there. Jason started using my Uber account without asking, and I only found out because of this $92 bill from a late night ride. He tried to deny it until I showed him the receipt with his address. Then he was like, "You make good money, why are you being so cheap?" I talked to Mom, who just sighed and said Jason struggles to ask for help, so I should just let it go. Then Dad chimed in, calling me bitter and selfish. I didn't reply, I was too busy watching my savings dwindle. The family group chat was the worst. It started with harmless memes and blurry cat photos from Mom, but then I found a picture of me, asleep at my desk, taken through my door's crack. It was captioned, "Look at this guy. Works all day and still can't afford to move out." Cousins joined in with jokes and memes, and I was just there, staring at my phone for like 20 minutes. When I asked, face to face, who took the photo, everyone acted like it was no big deal, saying, "Relax, it's just jokes." That night, I realized the lease was in my name, and they all thought I wouldn't do anything about their behavior. But I had this folder from lockdown days, full of saved screenshots, audio files, rent receipts, like one where Mom said they used my rent money on Jason's laptop. They really crossed a line, but instead of confronting them, I backed up everything and shared it with a lawyer friend and saved it securely. I messaged the landlord, saying I was leaving at the end of the month, with a lease. They were about to lose their comfy spaces, and I was ready to show them every bit of evidence. A knock came at 7:18 a.m., too early for them. I was ready, sipping my coffee. Jason, looking rough, asked if I could get the door. I told him he might want to wake up for this. At the door were Mr. Collins, my landlord, Officer Romero, and a lady from the housing board. Jason nearly dropped his drink when they said they were there for a tenant complaint. When Jason asked, "Complaint?" I stepped in. "Yeah, someone reported illegal activity and tenant abuse." And I knew who it was. 3 nights ago, I got an email about this report using my name, and guess whose IP matched the complaint? Yep, Jason's. So, there I was, sitting in my apartment, trying to sort things out. I had this folder with all my rental papers, and now Mr. Collins had it in his hands. Officer Romero turned to me and asked, "Are you the person on the lease?" I nodded while digging out my ID and a copy of the lease. "Yep, that's me. I'm the leaseholder. All the utilities are in my name, and I make sure the rent's paid on time every month. I've got bank statements to prove it if you need." He glanced at Jason, waiting for an explanation about why all these people were staying at my place. Jason paused and said, "We're family. They're not on the lease, though." I jumped in, "Yeah, none of them are supposed to be here." Collins skimmed through the tenant list and said, "Correct. Only your name is listed." That's when things got chaotic. My mom came out of the bedroom, robe and all, demanding to know what was happening in her house. Collins quickly corrected her, "Ma'am, technically, your son is the one on the lease. You don't have any legal right to be here." She looked stunned, like she didn't see this coming. "But we're family," she tried to argue. Officer Romero took out his notepad and asked her if she had any proof she lived here, like mail or something. My dad showed up next, looking grumpy and shirtless, like someone just ruined his weekend plans. "You can't just walk into our home like this," he grumbled. I sighed and said, "It's not your home. It's mine. Or, at least, it was." I turned to Jason, "I know you filed the complaint." He tried to deny it, but I had evidence, a printout showing data traced back to his device. The exact time he borrowed my charger, yet again. Officer Romero reviewed it and nodded, confirming my side of the story. Mr. Collins chimed in, "They've got 48 hours to pack up and leave, or I'll have to file for formal eviction." Suddenly, it dawned on them. Jason went pale, my mom collapsed on the couch, and my dad clenched his fists. He accused me, "You're tearing this family apart." I kept calm, "No, you guys tore it apart when you laughed at me in that group chat, plastered my face online like a joke, and told me to leave if I didn't like it here." I stepped towards the door, "Good news, I left." But before I left, I made sure to safeguard my interests. I pulled out a second folder with financial records, every chat, every audio, and tapped my phone to play a recording of my dad's voice. He said something about draining me for money because they raised me. My mom's voice followed, talking about hiding stuff from me. Jason lunged at the phone, but Officer Romero stepped in, "I suggest you calm down, sir." Then Collins dropped the final bomb, since they weren't on the lease and I had asked for non-renewal, they had no right to return after the lease is up. I showed Jason the receipt from the locksmith I hired for Friday, just in case he thought I was bluffing. "Try me," I said. No one said anything, so I headed for the door. As I grabbed the knob, I paused to look back at them. "You guys told me I could leave. Well, now you're the ones who'll be packing. And with that, I walked out, not looking back. Later, at 3:12 a.m., I got a transfer notification, $3,000 from my mom, with a note saying for everything. Hope it helps. I didn't react. Instead, I took a screenshot and saved it in a new folder called Dead Accounts. The next morning, $600 came in from my brother with the message, I didn't realize it hurt you this much. The third transfer, $2,000 from my dad, was without any message, just like how he's always been, letting numbers do the talking when words wouldn't come. In total, they sent me $5,600, which felt more like a buyback for forgiveness rather than repayment for the $114,000 I had spent on rent, utilities, groceries, the internet, and damage control. 2 days earlier, I had finished writing up a 14-page financial breakdown titled 10 Months of Loyalty, one invoice, listing every single expense. Rent, $65,000. Utilities, $8,200. Groceries, household stuff, $10,600. Mom's medical expenses, $5,000. Jason's gadgets and subscriptions, $6,400. Lost bonuses and therapy from burnout, $18,800. Total, $114,000. And at the bottom, repaid by family, $0. Funds received post-eviction, $5,600, emotionally irrelevant. I sent off this document in emails to my mom, Jason, and dad. After 3 minutes, my mom tried calling me. I blocked her. Then, I got busy cleaning up. I unlinked every shared account, canceled payments, wiped out streaming services, and deactivated the family phone line they never paid for. I opened a new savings account, calling it my emergency fund, and changed all my passwords, cranking up security. No more doing things for their convenience. No more guilt trips. My phone wallpaper now says, "The end." So, the last time I tried to buy some peace of mind, it set me back a whopping $114,000. Never doing that again. Just a few days later, my mom found a sneaky way to message me. She borrowed my aunt's account and reached out like a teenager trying to sneak onto the neighbor's Wi-Fi. Her message was all, "We didn't mean to hurt you. Don't throw your family away, please. Jason feels awful, and your dad is ashamed. You always wanted some space. We didn't think you'd go this far." I didn't bother replying with words. I just sent back one file, a PDF of a lease termination, stamped with the date they had to leave for good. I had handwritten at the bottom, "This ends our legal, financial, and emotional contract. Goodbye." After that, crickets. No messages from Jason, especially not after I yanked his access to my PayPal, where he'd been sneakily linking his Fortnite subscriptions for months. Yep, I knew about it. I was just waiting for the right moment to shut it down with one click. Before I deleted our chat thread, I forwarded all 3 of those apology payments totaling $5,600 to a youth housing charity. My donation note simply read, "Let someone else start where I had to end." Silence followed, but it was a different kind of quiet, not the tense, angry silence from living in a too small house with 4 big egos and only one paycheck. This was real, blissful silence. I'd sip my coffee on the balcony, just enjoying the sounds of traffic and birds, without any yelling, no gamer screams from the next room, or footsteps pacing outside my door. My space, my lease, my lock. It was the end and the beginning for me. I opened Google Drive, right-clicked on the folder with all their photos, messages, bills, everything family-related, and clicked Move to Trash. When the confirmation popped up asking if I was sure I wanted to delete it, I didn't even flinch. I was already gone. They always called me the good one, quiet, responsible, the one who paid bills, did the shopping, remembered birthdays, and forgave over and over again. I thought that made me strong. Turns out, it just made me useful. But useful isn't the same as being loved. It took me 10 months and $114,000 to realize that being needed isn't being valued. Loyalty without boundaries is just servitude, and expected kindness is a leash. They never asked, "Are you okay?" It was always, "What more can you give?" And I gave everything until I simply stopped. People think breakups are all about loud arguments or slammed doors. But sometimes, the most powerful move is quiet, just a firm decision not to turn back. No revenge posts, no shouting matches, just one money transfer, one lease termination, one signed PDF, and then, nothing more. Not out of spite, but out of clarity. I kept thinking back to that night when I had to sleep in my car because they'd made my own home feel like a place where I didn't belong. Mom's voice echoed, "If you don't like living with family, you can leave." It wasn't a suggestion, it was a dare. So, I took her dare and responded with silence. Now, I start my day without checking my phone first thing. I sip my coffee while it's still hot. My shoes are exactly where I left them. My groceries last all week. My name isn't the punchline of their jokes anymore because it's not on their lips. It's not in their group chats. It's not theirs to use anymore. I used to think helping them meant love, but they just saw it as free labor. And maybe my biggest mistake wasn't the money, it was not saying no the first time they called me ungrateful, not walking away when they laughed at me in the family chat, not shutting it down when Jason treated my PayPal like his personal bank. But survival teaches you to hold on, sometimes longer than you should, even to those who only call you family when you're footing the bill. I'm done with that. I'm not heartless, I'm healed. I opened the last app that still had their names in it, the family group chat. Dad hadn't chimed in for weeks. Jason bailed after the eviction. Mom was still there, typing away. I hovered over the chat, tapped leave group, confirmed my choice, and the screen blinked and went silent. And honestly, it felt like real peace, not loud or dramatic, just calm.